Costa Rica, a few France, a few Spain, Belgium, a couple of Czech Republics, Croatia, Belgium, Portugal, Italy. Hello, it is March the 5th. It is time for the ARRL DX contest, and I've been busy with it. For the last week, every evening after work, I kind of log in and make a few contacts on 10 meters, because 10 meters seems to have been getting a little bit more active slowly as the sunspot cycle comes in. I was hearing a lot of people talking about getting ready for a contest, and so lo and behold, there is a contest this weekend. Got up early Saturday morning at 6 o'clock and logged a bunch of contacts, spent a few minutes in the later part of Saturday evening, and then spent a little bit of time today. The band is not as open as it was yesterday, but as you can see, there's still plenty of activity. Echo Delta 8 Whiskey. So let's see if I've worked him already. Let's go to real quickly to QRZ. I'm going to use the Stream Deck. It's going to bring up QRZ. And I'm going to real quickly Delta Delta 8 Whiskey. Alright, and I key that into QRZ right there. And this contact is from Spain. I've worked a few people from Spain today. So let me click Log in New Contact. And I've actually already worked him one time this weekend, so I worked him on yesterday at 3:41 UTC time. So actually that would have been, I worked him Friday night at 3:41 UTC time, so that would have been about 10 o'clock our time. So as I've already walked him, let's walk through the band and look for somebody else. November 4, Kilo Romeo Papa. 5-9 Georgia Golf Alpha. Thank you. So I couldn't understand his call sign the way he read it, so let's put his call sign in here. I'm using the Stream Deck, and I'm finding the Stream Deck is very helpful for a lot of things. So what I'm actually going to do is this brings up the QRZ webpage, and that's going to bring up, and I put ARRL DX contest FT-991, which is the radio I'm using, going into a Cushcraft R8 antenna. And I put 73s and then 59, Georgia 59. My power is 90 watts. I'm running 90 watts output. And then I just come down here and click Save Record, and it's going to come up at the top here. Now, I've always used QRZ for logging. There's many different logging programs. I think Logbook of the World, which is ARRL's, is probably the most common one. Telling me, and I've logged 795 QSOs since I started using this. I want to say in 2000. Once I basically send this keeps this in a database, and if someone else puts in QRZ and they also log the same information at the same time, then it's going to come down here and it's going to give me a check mark saying confirmed. A lot of people that are participating in the contest, they're not doing any confirmations at this time. They're not putting anything in. They're keeping a logbook and everything. But as you can see, I get a confirmation of about 25% of the people that you talk to. My hope is after the contest, people are going to enter this information into either their QRZ account, Logbook of the World, and then they upload that, and so some of these will get confirmed. So right now, I have 64 countries that I've actually made contacts with, but as far as confirmations, there's not that many that are confirmed at this point. I have not done much international work until a 10-meter contest a couple years ago, and then this 10-meter contest really got me. I think I was starting at about 30 countries when I started on Friday, and I'm up to 64 now. All right, so let's go look and see what else we can find. That guy's talking so fast I can't understand a word he's saying. You can look here and you can see all the people that are transmitting. Not all that is transmitting. Some of that could be internal receiver noise or interference from other things. And then you just basically spin your dial until you end up centered on what's transmitting. Echo Whiskey 7 Mike. There's someone that's tuning their antenna up. I have not talked to this guy before. That's why I always move to another frequency before I start tuning the antenna.
Thanks for tuning. Kilo Delta 4, try again, please.
November 4, Kilo Romeo Papa.
4 Kilo Radio Papa, 59K.
59 Golf Alpha.
Thanks, Echo 87, Mike. You got the 9 Alpha, 5 X-ray.
November 4, Kilo Romeo Papa.
4 Kilo Radio Papa, 59 Kilo.
59 Golf Alpha, Georgia.
9 Alpha, 5.
November 4, Kilo Romeo Papa. 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 As you can see, in the matter of this communication, he's dropped out and now he's coming back. I could not tell if he was talking to me or not. I think he was talking to another station. November 4, Kilo Romeo Papa. November 4, Kilo Romeo Papa. November 4, Kilo Romeo Papa in 4 KRP.
Okay, got it. November 4, Kilo Radio Papa, 69 Kilo, Roger.
59 Golf Alpha, Georgia.
Georgia, Charlie 37, November, contact.
It took a long time to log that one. I didn't think I was going to get it. It would be awesome if I could get that log back from either QRZ or Logbook of the World, because that is Andorra. I'm not even exactly certain where that country is from. I've logged it from where I live in Georgia with 90 watts, and I had to break through. There was one time where I thought that I had gotten in, but it appears that he was talking to someone else with an N4 call sign, and once I discovered that, I stopped. But it took several times, and the band went out, went back in, went out, went back in, and I don't think he heard, and then all of a sudden the propagation came together, and so he was able to make out enough so we could log the conversation together. So let's see what else I can find. All right, that shows that that's a England call sign, but it's not listed in the QRZ. But because of the prefix, it sounds like it might be from England. So I'm going to actually skip that one. One of the hardest things that I had to start with when I got into ham radio was the fact that they use it's hard to understand letters when you're saying it over the air, especially as the band especially as you're talking fast and as the band is coming in and out. So they replaced the first letter with, they use the name of the first letter instead. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, those are the ones that are used in the military and all that. Ham radio people kind of deviate a little bit. So like, for instance, Victor Mike is used. But anyway, instead of, they use Florida and hotel. Hotel makes perfect sense, but Florida and some people, people just use a word that just begins in it. But a lot of times you'll hear people talking and you'll think they're they say like P instead of Papa, they say Portugal. And you think, oh, yay, I'm talking to Portugal. No, you're not. You're just talking to someone with a call sign that begins with P. During contests, the bands all of a sudden become very active, and propagation just seems to be flying everywhere. A lot of people complain that their propagation's not that good. A lot of times I think it's just because people are not working the bands and not on the bands. During contests, the bands all of a sudden become very active and be in sites, but then as soon as the contest was over, the band was dead again. And that's exactly the same thing that appears to be happening here. Timing it perfectly right. I was kind of hoping by getting on here in the afternoon, I might be able to hit some people that were in Africa. That's one continent that I've made no contacts in, is Africa. But it appears that Europe seems to be where the bounce is occurring today. November 4, Kilo Romeo Papa.
November 4, Kilo Radio Papa 59K.
59 Golf Alpha, Georgia.
Thank you, Georgia. Echo Alpha 1, Delta Radio contest.
Amateur radio is a great hobby, but it also serves a great purpose in emergency situations. The fact that we have these radios are up and running, and we have these communication techniques that allow us to communicate with different places, allows it to be a great backup should our cell phone and internet services fall apart. One of the biggest misconceptions that I had when coming into ham radio is you would basically take a radio and transmit, and you would go to where your line of sight ends, or when you did HF that you would have worldwide communication. And that is not exactly 100% correct. It just depends on how the different layers in the atmosphere are put together to determine how exactly everything's going to bounce. Sometimes you get the bounce, it takes you in one direction. Sometimes you get the bounce, it takes you in another direction. But that also is what makes it interesting and fun, because if you knew that you would go out there and talk to someone in Argentina at that particular time, there wouldn't be as much of a fun in the chase of it. As you can see, since late Friday afternoon, I've made 118 contacts. I've contacted places such as the Cayman Islands, Chile, Russia, Brazil, the Canary Islands, Madeira Island, the Dominican Republic, New Zealand, Japan. I got Japan. Japan was the only thing I got out in the Asia area, but I did get Japan. I got Costa Rica, several contacts in France and Spain, a few in Germany, a couple in Croatia, Brazil, Italy, Ukraine, Azores, Peru, England, Czech Republic, Italy, Russia, Slovenia, Romania, Italy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I hope this video showed you how with 90 watts you can talk all around the world to people you've never met. 73s and happy radio. FT-991A being powered by a Blue Eddy battery and a couple hand sticks and a